So good morning friends, welcome to Raj Malhotra IAS. So guys, here we are about to start the session. So just give me a minute here. I will be starting this session and I will be uploading the PDF for today's session. So already some people have joined us. Pooja, Mohit, Pranjal, Vivek, Yasmin, Rahul, Nikita, Santosh, Yamandi, Parthi, Mahi, Bappan, Kirti, Ajay, good morning. Okay. So I will be uploading the PDF for today's session. Just give me a minute here. So as you can see on the screen, this is the new thing that we have brought. Okay, so every day I will be discussing about one of the statements and how these particular lessons can change your life. If you are following these particular instructions given by learned people, okay, so it will have impact in your life and it will help to improve in your life. This is what we have to do. We have to keep on improving in our life. You have to improve yourself as an aspirant, as a human being. Okay, every day should be there and you should learn something good. Every day you should learn something good from the life. That's the important point. You have to work on yourself. Okay, so here we have this particular statement in front of you, and I hope most of you are aware about who Sun Tzu was. Okay, so he was a Chinese general and he came out with the beautiful lessons. So he has written a book called Art of War, and in that Art of War there are multiple statements that he issued. This is one of those particular quotes made by him. It says that every battle is won before it is fought. Every battle is won before it is fought. Okay. How are you going to use this particular statement? The point is this: you can use it in UPSC preparation. Okay. So if you are not working right now as an aspirant, definitely the competition level is like this, that you may not be able to perform. You may not be able to perform. ठीक है ना? तो ये चीज समझना जरूरी है. Okay, that your preparation is before the exam. Most of the people, if you see aspirants, they keep on talking to each other. They will talk about what Modi ji is doing, what National Security Advisor Ajit Doval is doing. They are not focusing on their preparation. They are majorly focusing on things that they will be doing after clearing the exam. Arey sir, first requirement is to clear the exam. You have to prepare for that. You have to prepare for that. That's the first step you have to achieve. So without that, like, you cannot achieve your goal. And more you sweat in peace, less you bleed in war. As simple as that. If you are going ahead with the answer writing practice, it is going to help you out. एग्जाम में हेल्प होगी. इफ यू आर अटेम्प्टिंग मोर प्रीलिम्स क्वेश्चंस व्हाइल प्रिपरेशन इटसेल्फ, टेस्ट सीरीज बहुत सारी अवेलेबल है, आप पहले से ही उसको पढ़ रहे हो, डेफिनेटली आपको हेल्प होगी एग्जाम के अंदर, बिकॉज योर प्रिपरेशन विल बी एट नेक्स्ट लेवल. यू विल बी यूज्ड टू ऑफ, you can say, attempting those type of questions. That's the point I am making here. Okay, so it's like this only. Every battle is won before it is fought. As simple as that. And suppose if I am asking this particular statement in your GS paper 4, आप ethics के पेपर के अंदर सन त्जू की statement आ गई. Okay, so how will you use this particular statement? In that particular question, you will be mentioning about impact of this particular statement in your personal life. Okay, that personally how this particular statement is going to help you in improvement. Then you have to understand that there must be some bureaucratic application, कि governance में इसका कुछ application हो सकता है क्या? So can we link it with this point that policy making is very important? Okay, that how you are drafting a policy, how you are preparing a draft, that is also really very important before the implementation. If you are if you are preparing a wrong policy with wrong data sets, okay, definitely there are good chances that your policy will fail. आपकी policy fail हो जाएगी. अगर preparation ही खराब है, अगर preparation ही खराब है, तो there are good chances आपकी policy fail होगी. So this is what you have to understand. You have to link it with your GS paper 4 as well. वहां से ही आपको उसको link करना होगा. Okay. So that's the point. That's the point. This is how, you know, the things can be analyzed. Definitely it is going to have positive impact on your life if you are following this. You should be prepared for everything in the sense that UPSC is going to add uncertainties, and I am telling you friends, without uncertainties definitely people will face difficulty in selection. Why I am saying this? So the competition is between those people who are appearing for first attempt, जो पहले attempt के लिए जा रहे हैं. There will be someone who must have written multiple mains and this will be his 6th attempt. It is quite possible. Okay. Definitely the person with the 6 attempts, or you can say person with the 5 attempts and multiple interviews, he is having an advantage. उनको पता है कि system कैसे चलता है. ठीक है ना? If UPSC will keep on make things predictable, that first attempt and the young aspirant, he will be at the losing end. So this is what UPSC doesn't want. UPSC wants more youngsters to qualify this particular exam. And that's why uncertainties are added specifically in your prelims exam. That's why things have become more unpredictable. वो इसीलिए बनाया गया है. Okay. So you have to prepare for all those uncertainties. If it is seen that like people, aspirants, they do ask sometimes, क्या छोड़ना है preparation के अंदर? That what we have to leave, current affair कितना करें, कितना ना करें. Don't think too much about it. Okay. Don't think too much about it. That I will not prepare art and culture and I will focus on polity. You may be at the receiving end then. Polity के अंदर 6 क्वेश्चन आ गए और आर्ट एंड कल्चर के 14 क्वेश्चन आ गए, फिर क्या करोगे? You will be out of the game. Okay. So this is the point you have to understand, and this is what we have here. So let's start the session. Let's see what exactly is there for us in the today's newspaper. आज की अखबार हमारे लिए क्या खास लेके आई है, तो देखते हैं. Here we have this front page in front of you. India to grow at 8%. This is what World Bank is offering. Okay, so they are coming out with the figure, and definitely our growth will be impacted by the Ukraine war that has happened. So friends, this is the globalized world. Okay, ये हमारा globalized world है. Now the point that you have to understand, if you are writing an answer, okay, on question related to globalization. So globalization, definitely people will say that it has lot of positives. There is no doubt about it. बहुत positives हैं इसके अंदर, बहुत benefits हमें मिलते हैं, technology, investment, etc., etc. There are a lot of benefits that are there. But the point that you have to understand, there are negatives as well, because it will make your economy vulnerable to the global events. पूरी दुनिया में जो चीजें चल रही होंगी उसका impact आपकी economy के ऊपर पड़ेगा. That's the point you have to understand. Okay, so every coin has two sides, plus and minus, and here we have the same. So if globalization is adding value to your economy, definitely it will also adding some vulnerabilities as well. So this is the point that you have to understand. ये सारी चीज आपको यहाँ पे समझनी जरूरी है. Okay, so this is what we have here. Now we'll move to the next and see this thing in detail. थोड़ा इसको detail में जानते हैं कि what exactly it is coming out with. Okay, so it is saying that due to Ukraine war, growth in South Asia expected to be slower than the projected. Okay, it is quite obvious. Now this is the homework that I want you to look into. What were the exports that India used to carry out with Ukraine and Russia? Okay, with Ukraine and Russia, there are some exporting items. कुछ exporting items तो थी हमारी. Okay, क्या ऐसी exporting items थी? क्या हम कॉफी को export करते थे? Okay, like this is what we used to export. So this is what I am leaving at your end. Just Google it after this session and you will get the answer. Okay, because definitely those particular sectors were badly impacted और बिल्कुल उसका असर पड़ा ही होगा. ठीक है ना, पड़ा ही होगा. Okay, this is the point. This is the point that is there. Now you need to understand. Like India to grow at 8%, it is still, you can say, decent. ये बहुत ही decent है. We are still better than rest of the other players which are there in the Indian subcontinent. उनसे भी हम बेहतर रहे हैं. We know that what is going on in Pakistan. We know that what is going on in Sri Lanka. Okay. So definitely, and yesterday there was one news that Nepal may also come under crisis. Okay. So they don't have a Forex reserve. So this is how things are developing. That's why this particular time is seriously very dangerous. The corona has seriously impacted the global economies. Okay. So those particular economies which were completely relying on tourism, they are badly hit. तो टूरिज्म की जिसके ऊपर जिनका रिलाय टूरिज्म पे ज़्यादा था उनके ऊपर ज़्यादा इम्पैक्ट पड़ा है. ठीक है ना. सो दीज आर द थिंग्स दैट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. नाउ अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट ऑन दिस पर्टिकुलर पेज देर इज नथिंग मच, कुछ खास नहीं है. कर्नाटका मिनिस्टर बुक्ड फॉर डेथ ऑफ अ सिविल कॉन्ट्रैक्टर. ओके. सो दिस इज द सैड स्टेट ऑफ पॉलिटिक्स इन इंडिया. ठीक है. काफ़ी ख़राब चीज़ है ये that someone is losing life because of a minister, and ministers, they are public representatives. Okay. If things happen by them and things are propagated by them, then definitely it has a bad impact on your society. Okay. Because these are the leaders. ये है leader. Society के ऊपर असर पड़ता है. ठीक है ना. So that's the point which is there. Other than that there is nothing much, and we'll directly move to the editorial section. सीधा editorial section पे चलेंगे, देखेंगे क्या बोलता है आपका editorial यहाँ पे. Okay. So here we are moving towards this particular editorial. Now, yes. So the real script behind the call for a Hindi India. Okay. So again, like, this editorial has been written, and the target is that your home minister, he made some statement regarding promotion of Hindi. Okay. So he said that other than English, means English should not be used as a second language for communication. So at the India level, like, other than your mother tongue, your native language, there should be a promotion of Hindi, and Hindi should be the connecting link between different you can say parts of this country. This is what he said, and these editorials are written. Okay. So basically prove the point that India has a peculiar, you can say, constitutional provision or situation where the native language, they are treated as equivalent to your, you can say, most popular language, that is Hindi. तो बाकी जो लैंग्वेज हैं हर एक एरियाज की, वो अपने आप में एक इंपॉर्टेंट प्लेस रखती हैं. ओके. सो इन दिस एडिटोरियल, लाइक, देयर विल बी लॉट ऑफ गुड कंटेंट फॉर योर प्रीलिम्स. अगेन आई एम टेलिंग यू, stay connected with us, because prelims के लिए you will get a decent content, straightforward content. Okay. And I will be marking it down as well, that this particular information is important for your prelims. Okay. So other than that, this editorial is pointing towards one thing, that Hindi cannot be imposed. Okay. Hindi cannot be imposed because India has a particular, you can say, constitutional provision. कुछ एक चीज़ों के अंदर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशनल प्रोविजन है, एंड इक्वल प्रोटेक्शन हैज बीन गिवन टू द रीजनल लैंग्वेजेस. ओके. सो दिस एडिटोरियल इज टॉकिंग अबाउट फ्यू थिंग्स. इट इज सेइंग दैट द अटेम्प्ट टू स्टॉक हिंदी प्राइड कुड हैव more to do with the state of Hindi belt and the 2024 general election. So this editorial is pointing towards this thing, that these statements were made primarily to somehow woo the Hindi belt people. We know this particular fact. Okay. Specifically Uttar Pradesh, if you talk about, now Uttar Pradesh has 80 Lok Sabha seats. 80 Lok Sabha seats. Okay. It's a big number, and majority of them are Hindi speaking people. And if you add things to that, there is MP. MP still has 28 number of seats. Okay. Then you have Bihar. Okay. Bihar also has nearly 40 odd seats. 40 seats है, उससे ज़्यादा है थोड़ा. ठीक है ना. So all this number is existing in front of you. Okay. So the point that he's making that this is another political gimmick to win elections. But he is coming out with some of the statistics and the factual information, and this editorial is saying that 2000 years ago, Tolkappiyar, the fable author of Tolkappiyam, said that poetic words can be distributed in 4 types: Lairkol, Thirisol, Thisaikol, Vadasol. Okay. Now I am telling you this thing, this is the important, you can say, content for your prelims, because suppose if I have to make a question, I will add these particular 4 terms. मैं ये 4 terms add करूँगा statement में, and then I will provide you 4 options. Okay, that these 4 terms are related to which thing. So I will provide first option as लैंड मेजरमेंट सिस्टम, आप अगर क्वेश्चन उठा के देखोगे तो लैंड मेजरमेंट पे क्वेश्चन आपको मिल जाएगा, ठीक है ना, लैंड मेजरमेंट, ओके, एंड देन आई विल राइट दैट स्टाइल of, you can say, poetic style. This is the second option I can write, poetic style. Third option I will write that, okay, instructions by the king, ठीक है ना, random points, instructions by the king, and then I will write the unit of currency, unit of currency. So in this way I will be framing a question, okay. You should be knowing about this particular point, that here these particular terms are used specifically in a related to the poetic styles, okay. This is what they are saying. And apart from that, Tolkappiyam, you need to read about Tolkappiyam, what exactly it is, what exactly it is it a grammar, is it a grammar, is it a grammar document? Please do figure it out, please do figure it out. And apart from that, this editorial is pointing towards another, you can say, valuable information. It is saying that the term vada sol words, okay, it was taken from northern languages and it was to be made to fit in the Tamil, and before you can say incorporating in Tamil, so their northern phonetics were discarded. ये वर्ड्स तो लिए लेकिन नॉर्दर्न फोनेटिक्स उसके डिस्कार्ड कर दिए थे. दिस इज द इंफॉर्मेशन दैट यू शुड नो, ओके. Apart from that, this editorial is also pointing towards one thing, that Mahavir, the like very, you can say, respected leader among Jains, he used to use Prakrit language, okay, Prakrit language at that time, 6th century BC के अंदर. This is the information for your prelims, okay, ये prelims की information आ गई. And then he's saying that 18 centuries later, Acharya Hemchandra, he was a major Jain scholar, poet, mathematician, philosopher, and he produced Dasin Mamla. This is the literature that was created by Acharya Hemchandra. Again, important for your prelims, okay. Now, if I have to make a question out of it, I will frame a question that identify the person, okay. And then in that particular question, I will mention about 3 statements. One statement will be like this, that he was a poet, mathematician, and Jain scholar, etc., etc. First statement. Second statement, I will mention that, okay, he produced Desin Mamla. Second, and something can be written in line with that as well. You have to identify. So there, this type of question can be framed. Another type of question can be framed in terms of match the following, because this Desin Mamla was created by him, and apart from that, there are a lot of scholars who have created multiple, you can say, literature work. So you can make a question out of it. Match the following का भी question बन सकता है कि किसने क्या बनाया है. This is the valuable content that you have, okay. Now, this Desin Mamla, which was a treatise on importance of Prakrit words, used in Gujarat of his time, okay, as against those of Sanskrit. तो Desin Mamla क्या है? It was a treatise on the importance of Prakrit words, okay. Prakrit words के लिए ये एक treatise बनाया था, ठीक है ना. Then you have to understand, this is the additional, you can say, information that has been provided, that Mahatma Gandhi, who defined the idea of selfhood, okay, for India in Hind Swaraj, chose to write this iconic book in Gujarati. So the point that this particular editorial is making, that other than Hindi, these languages are equally important, and there is lot of literature that is available. These languages are equally rich in literature. That's the point they are coming out with, okay. So other than that, this editorial is pointing towards this thing, that India is a union of state, okay. And other is that the official language used for communication between the states shall be the language that has been in use at the time of adoption of constitution. This is what has been written here, okay. And then he's saying that the move from English to Hindi can take place only if, as the language related articles unambiguously state, 2 or more states agree for the shift, okay. So this particular thing is required, that states have to be in line. States भी इस बात को माने कि भी अब इंग्लिश से हिंदी में शिफ्ट करना है कि नहीं. दैट्स द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट दे आर कमिंग आउट विद. सो योर कॉन्स्टिट्यूशन इज ऑफरिंग यू सम ऑफ द प्रोटेक्शंस दैट आर देयर. Then he is saying that Article 344(4) provides a committee consisting of 30 members, 20 from Parliament and 10 from state assemblies for safeguarding the language related provisions. Okay, so this particular arrangement has been provided in your constitution. It means that outrightly the government cannot impose their ideas. There is a proper framework that has been provided. You have to follow that framework. Okay, and this is how things should move ahead. Another point this editorial is coming out with, that what is the status of languages that are there in India. So in 2011, the Hindi speakers were nearly 43.63% of the total population. Okay, in 1971 their number was 36.99%. It means that Hindi speakers have increased. Okay, now there are multiple reasons why this has happened. One of the reason is that if you look into the Hindi belt, they have not been able to control their population. Okay, आप जरा fertility rate देख लो, ठीक है ना, बिहार का, यूपी का. Okay, it is way more than the southern states. Southern states से compare करेंगे तो बहुत ज़्यादा नजर आएगा आपको. This is the point you have to understand. So definitely this is the reason why we have more Hindi speaking people. So south states, they have this complaint that it is not our fault that we have been able to control our population. हमने अपनी population control की है. We should not be at the receiving end. Okay, you cannot impose your ideas. And then this particular article is discussing about other languages as well. So Bangla speakers have gone down. Okay, if you talk about Telugu speakers, the number have gone down. Same is the case for other languages. बाकियों के लिए भी यही हालत है कि उनका number relatively कम हो रहा है. ठीक है ना. The point that they are making is this, that Hindi speaking states, they have not been able to control their population. Okay, and this should not be the reason that these particular states, southern states who have controlled their population, they should pay the price for that. And this is not the first time the issue has been raised. I hope you remember 15th Finance Commission. Okay, when the terms of reference was given, in that it was said that instead of 1971 population data, 2011 population data should be used to divide the tax money. Okay, तो tax जो है उसको divide करने के लिए ये data use करना चाहिए. Now the point is that in 1971, whatever you can say growth rate was, or your fertility rate was there between northern and southern states, it was equivalent. एक तरीके से बराबर था. What happened by 2011? Southern states, their fertility rate has gone down, but the northern states, they have still, you can say, high fertility rate and their population is growing. So this is the point they are coming out with, that हमारा नुकसान क्यों हो, हमने तो population को control किया है. Okay, this is the point they do come out with. So that's why here as well this particular statement is made. Now what could be the way out? Yesterday Shashi Tharoor has written this particular editorial. Shashi Tharoor has written this, that if you continue with English, okay, English के साथ continue करते हो, that English is as difficult for a Hindi speaker as well as for a native language speaker. So there is no discrimination if you use Hindi. If you use Hindi, there is no discrimination. Otherwise, if you impose Hindi, or there is no discrimination if you use English. Otherwise, if you impose Hindi, definitely Hindi speaking people, they will be at the advantage point here. Okay, this is what Shashi Tharoor pointed out. ये Shashi Tharoor सर का कल का एक editorial जो लिखा था, उन्होंने इस बात को लिखा है. So that's the solution he gave. He said that create awareness among masses regarding English, और employment opportunities भी आपको मिलेंगी if you know the additional language. हिंदी आप जानते हो, ठीक है, English भी जान जाओगे तो आपके लिए additional एक तरीके से help हो जाएगा. It will be a help to know the additional language. It's a skill. It's a skill set. Okay, this is the point they are coming out with. So apart from that, like, next editorial is about this point. The key phrase is fetus on the fetus for the future. Okay, so here they are coming out with few statements regarding diabetes. We know that non-communicable disease burden is increasing. ये burden increase हो रहा है at a very alarming rate. There are multiple reasons for that. Okay, but this editorial is pointing towards one point. It is saying that diabetes, it does, a person maybe, you can say, infected with diabetes, during the pregnancy as well. Okay, so this pregnancy induced diabetes needs to be controlled. If you are able to control this type of diabetes, it will be a great help, and it will help in controlling the diabetic population, okay, or the spread of diabetes. So major focus of this editorial is primarily on controlling the pregnancy induced diabetes. Okay, there are other relevant informations that are being provided by them, so we will discuss that as well. So they are saying that early detection of diabetes in pregnancy can help to prevent the transgenerational transmission. Okay, that intergenerational transmission can be, you can say, avoided. The chances of passing on the diabetic traits or genes from mother to, you can say, baby is relatively high. So if you identify it during the pregnancy itself, definitely something can be done. कुछ ना कुछ किया जा सकता है, ठीक है ना? This is what the theme of this editorial is. So they are saying that definitely communicable disease and, you can say, non-communicable disease are spreading these days. Okay, and they are saying that there could be a pandemic of non-communicable disease. Okay, there could be a pandemic of non-communicable disease. That spread could be very, very vast. This is the point they are coming out with, and it is very important that you need to control it. It is very important. Why I am saying this? See, there are a lot of things that are there, and these particular non-communicable disease, definitely it leads to loss of productivity. लॉस ऑफ प्रोडक्टिविटी तो जरूर होता है, ठीक है ना? द एबिलिटी ऑफ अ पर्सन टू परफॉर्म रियली गोज डाउन. दैट्स द पॉइंट दे आर कमिंग आउट विद. सो देर आर लॉट ऑफ इश्यूज दैट आर देयर. डायबिटीज इज वन ऑफ देम, ओबेसिटी इज देयर, हाइपरटेंशन इज देयर, हार्ट डिजीज आर देयर. ओके, एंड दे आर स्प्रेडिंग अक्रॉस द वर्ल्ड. पूरी दुनिया के अंदर ये फैलता जा रहा है. So it is important to control it. Now, diabetes, if you talk about, it is characterized by sustained increase in blood sugar, okay, that eventually affects the blood vessels in the body, causing damage to various vital organs, including heart, eyes, kidneys, nerves, and brains. Okay, brain. So this is how diabetes have an impact on us. Now, before rushing to that, if you look into the कोरोना के अंदर एक चीज आपने सुनी होगी, कोरोना इज डेंजरस फॉर दोज पीपल हु हैव कोमोर्बिडिटीज. ओके, कोमोर्बिडिटीज. द पॉइंट इज दिस, people who are diabetic and all, they are more vulnerable to such type of virus spreads. वो ज़्यादा vulnerable हो जाते हैं. This is the point you have to understand. So here in the year 2021, the prevalence of diabetes was estimated by this particular, you can say, federation to be 537 million people, and it is expected that it is going to be increased to 783 million by 2045. So in another 24-25 years, this will be the number that we will have. 783 million people, 78 crore, you can say. Okay, it's a huge number. So you can easily figure out how much productivity are we going to lose in the coming time. That's why it is important to control it. Okay, so one of the point that they are coming out with this, that there are several reasons that are being assigned to this spread of diabetes. Like it could be aging population, urbanization, genetic predisposition, nutrition, lifestyle transition. All these reasons are there, but majorly you have to focus on diabetes that occurs during the pregnancy, because if you are able to control it at that time, it means that you will be able to reduce the number significantly. At least जो intergenerational जो transfer होता है उसको आप रोक पाओगे. Okay, so these reasons are there. बिल्कुल we know that like urbanization is there, people are easy loving, they don't want, like cars are available, you know, bikes are available, so लोगों ने पैदल चलना ही छोड़ दिया है, ठीक है ना? So they don't use, you can say, the natural ways that are there. We have our legs are there to move, to walk, but people have stopped it. Okay, and this is the price that we are paying. So lack of physical activity is also one of the reason. So your lifestyle is like this, the consumption of fast food and other things that we are doing, उसका भी impact जरूर पड़ता होगा हम पे. So all these things are there. Okay, so we need to control it, but apart from that, you can focus on the diabetes during the pregnancy. Okay, उसके ऊपर आप focus कर सकते हो. So we'll move to the next part now. Next editorial is around Beijing move India's turn. Okay, so the point that they are coming out with this, that recently, if you look into the visit by different dignitaries. Okay, visit by different dignitaries to India. There were a lot of people who were coming. Chinese foreign minister came, okay, Russian foreign minister came, American executive came, UK executive came, Japanese prime minister came, Australian leadership was also there. So this thing was happening. So at that time, you can easily figure it out. India emerges as a major country here. Okay, every country was trying to persuade India that help, or you can say don't buy oil from Russians, or India should criticize Russia. This is what Western countries were demanding. But here we have a very, you can say, important lesson that India, China both have to look into. Okay, so the point that is there, that this editorial points towards one thing, that why only Russian foreign minister was allowed to have word with Prime Minister Modi. Rest all dignitaries that are there, definitely Japanese prime minister we had word with, like he had word with Prime Minister Modi, and then Joe Biden, the UK president, he had word with Modi ji. Apart from others, why only Russian foreign minister had a word with Modi? This is the point that you have to understand. There is a very big signaling in it. The signaling is for Chinese as well, and that signaling says that don't think that we are closer to United States. We are having autonomous way of thinking. Okay, we are thinking autonomously. So if you want to have good equation with India and India to remain autonomous, please vacate those border areas and restore the status quo. This is what our signaling is. That we are not criticizing Russians. We are not criticizing Russians. So from this you can draw a message that India is not with United States. US is saying that India should stop buying oil. Rather, stopping it down, we have increased our import from Russia. This is the point that you have to understand, and this is the message that is there for Chinese as well. So they have to read all these things. They have to read all these things. So the point that they are coming out with this, that if this movement provides for a rest of India's ties with China, it will alter New Delhi's relationship with United States. Definitely, it will have impact on India's relationship with United States. So if China becomes our friend, if India and China, they both resolve their border disputes, definitely we will like to be with Chinese, because our economy, their economy, like they are also developing, we are also developing. There are a lot of commonalities that are there. Historically, if you see, they were also exploited by the colonial powers. We were also exploited by the colonial powers. So एक दूसरे का दर्द समझते हैं हम, ठीक है ना, एक दूसरे का दर्द हम अच्छे से समझते हैं. So from that aspect, if you see, it's a really good thing. It's a really good thing. Now they are saying that, like some of the Quad partners that we have, so US, Japan, Australia, they impose sanctions on Russia. We know this particular part. Okay, like India recently welcomed the Russian foreign minister to New Delhi, and there was a major signaling in that he was the only visiting foreign official among many in New Delhi to get a personal meeting with Modi ji. बाकी सबको नहीं मिली ये meeting. That's the point you have to understand. So it means that India has chosen to increase rather than reduce the import of its crude oil supplies from Russia. That's the another angle you have to understand. Okay, so Western leaders, they were criticizing India, that what India is doing, and they were saying that if India continues like this, it is going to be, you can say, disastrous for India, and it will backfire. This is what they used to say. This is what they used to say. But we were not bothered about their statements. We went ahead with our national interest. Okay, so our national interest says that you have to buy oil. It's available cheap in the market. Buy it. As simple as that. So the point here is this, another angle that you have to understand. There is a major crisis that is going on between India and China in the border area, but you will not hear, you can say you will not hear about it in media. Media के अंदर कोई भी इसके बारे में बात नहीं हो रही है. Everything is completely silent. even the joint statement that we came out with United States leaders, okay, we didn't mention China at all. We didn't mention Chinese aggression at all. So this is the signaling that we are giving to China. The signaling says that we are ready to understand, to accommodate your sensitivities. आपके दुख दर्द को हम समझ रहे हैं, हम एड्रेस करने को तैयार हैं. Providingly, you should also be concerned about India's sensitivities. But the point is this: China is appearing to be unconcerned right now. This is the point you have to understand. Rather, before visiting India, Chinese foreign minister, he made a provocative statement on Kashmir in Islamabad. This is what happened. This is what happened. So right now, what should be our next move? And despite all these things, despite this border crisis, India's trade with China reached a record high of 125 billion in 2021. And India still remained the biggest recipient of loans dispersed by Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, which is an idea of China. ये China ने बनाया है ये. Okay. No doubt we didn't criticize China's clampdown in Hong Kong or in Uyghur Muslims in Xinjiang. So ऐसा हमने बिल्कुल नहीं किया. So all this is signaling that like India's equation is changing. India's equation is changing, but providingly China also needs to be sensitive about India's concern. वो चीज अब उनको दिखाने की जरूरत है. Okay. Another point is that if you talk about Quad, so China is the binding glue in case of Quad, because all these countries, they want to counter China. Okay. So be it United States, be it any other, these countries may be having differences in different you can say areas, but specifically on China, all of them wants to counter China or to somehow control China. This is the point. This is the point that you have to understand. But if India is going to maintain good equation with China, all these things are going to change. ये सारी चीजें आपकी यहाँ पे बदलने वाली हैं अगर इंडिया चाइना के साथ अच्छा रिलेशन बना लेता है. So that's the critical point that you have to understand. Okay. So we are moving next now. आगे चलते हैं. So here we have this particular you can say component in explained like hits and misses India's solar power energy targets. Okay, so there was one report that came out that India will not be able to achieve the target of 100 gigawatt of solar power by 2022. Rather, only the 50% will be achieved. 50% ही हो पाया है अभी तक. Okay, this is the point. This is the statistics they are coming out with, and definitely I would say that even if it is 50%, it is fine. Okay. According to me, if you see, even if it is 50%, it is significant. काफी ज़्यादा होगा वो वहाँ पे. ठीक है ना? So this is the point that they are coming out with. Then they are coming out with the reasons as well that why India has not been able to achieve these targets. क्या reason है कि India ये target नहीं achieve कर पाया? Those things are discussed here. Okay. Definitely, if someone has to ask a question, the question can be asked in your GS paper 3. Along with that, in prelims as well, the statements can be made. Okay, in prelims exam as well, if I can make multiple statements, and in one of the statement I can mention about the targets that we had for solar power. तो टारगेट्स बना के मैं क्वेश्चन पूछ सकता हूं ना आपसे. दिस इज द पॉइंट यू हैव टू अंडरस्टैंड. सो लेट्स डिस्कस दिस पर्टिकुलर आर्टिकल. सो definitely they are pointing towards some of the factual informations that are there for you can say solar power production. So it is saying that since 2011 India's solar sector has grown at a compoundable annual growth rate of around 59%. Okay, we have earlier it was 0.5 gigawatt in 2011, and right now in 2021, by 2021 it was 55 gigawatt. It was a significant you can say improvement. Okay, so you had Jawaharlal Nehru National Solar Mission, also known as National Solar Mission, which was commenced in 2010 and marked the first time the government focused on promoting and developing solar power in India. Under that scheme, the total installed capacity target was set to be 20 gigawatt by 2022. This particular target was revised to 100 gigawatt in August 2020, 100 gigawatt in 2015, and in August 2021, the government set a target of 300 gigawatt by 2023. So this was the target that we have set. Okay, this was the target that we have set. ठीक है जी. CAGR is compounded annual growth rate. कितना बड़ा है सोलर, ठीक है ना, कितना बड़ा है, that was the point. एनुअली कितना इंक्रीज हुआ है. ओके, सो इंडियाज करंट रैंकिंग इज 5th आफ्टर चाइना, यूएस, जापान, जर्मनी. नाउ दिस इज द इंपॉर्टेंट फैक्ट फॉर योर प्रीलिम्स, इसको नोट डाउन कर लो. ओके, one thing is that India is at 5th, and other point is that which country is leading, it is China. Okay, and second is US, third is Japan, and fourth is Germany, and then fifth one is India. Okay, this is what you have to understand. So it is saying that like as of December 2021, the cumulative solar installed capacity of India is 55 gigawatts, which is roughly the half of renewable energy capacity and 14% of the overall power generation capacity in India. तो 14% ओवरऑल जितना बनता है हमारे यहाँ पे, उसके अंदर हम इससे निकाल रहे हैं, ठीक है ना, सोलर से निकाल रहे हैं, विच इज़ अ डिसेंट नंबर अकॉर्डिंग टू मी. इफ यू आस्क, आई स्टिल रेट इट टू बी अ डिसेंट नंबर. ओके, दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट इज देयर. नाउ दे आर सेइंग दैट लाइक इफ यू लुक इनटू द टारगेट्स, ये 100 गीगावाट का जो टारगेट था, इन दैट 60 गीगावाट was to be there from grid connectivity. Grid in the sense that you will produce major solar power plants will be established, and they will be there specifically for the electricity generation. Other was 40 gigawatt was supposed to become from rooftop based. Okay, household की छतों पे जो solar panel लगेंगे उनसे आना था. And we have not been able to achieve that particular target, and there are some reasons why we have not been able to achieve it. So here is some statistics. So in December 2015, the government launched first phase of grid connectivity rooftop solar program. Okay, in second phase, it was approved in 2019. There was a target of 40 gigawatt. Okay, cumulative rooftop solar capacity by 2022. And as of November 2021, it is only 1.1 gigawatt that has been installed. तो 40 का हमारा टारगेट था और आप सिर्फ 1.1 कर पाए हो. That's the point you have to understand. There are multiple reasons. One of the reason is disruption in supply chain due to pandemic. Okay, so components आपके पास तक नहीं आ रहे हैं. That's the point here. India's rooftop solar market, they struggle to grow. Held back by lack of consumer awareness, consumer को मालूम ही नहीं है इन चीज़ों के बारे में. Inconsistent policy frameworks, center and state government उनकी financing का arrangement नहीं है. All these problems are there. Okay, and then there is also like technological costs that are there. It may be costly for people. सब लोग नहीं afford कर सकते. 1.5-2 लाख रुपए लगते हैं आपके यहाँ पे पैनल लगाने को. Everyone cannot explore it. Everyone cannot, you can say, afford it. Then is increasing grid tariff. That's the problem. Grid tariff जो है वो भी यहाँ पे increase हो रहा है, because at the end of the day आपको वो बेचना तो है ना, ठीक है ना. So rising consumer awareness, all these things are to be looked into. ये सारी चीजें आपको यहाँ पे देखनी होंगी. Okay, technology should be made available. You have to make sure that the individual who are offering their particular solar power to the grid, they should get decent remuneration. अच्छा पैसा उनको मिलना चाहिए. This is the point you have to understand. Then there are some factors that are impacting it. So global, you can say, supply chain was disrupted. There are like restrictions that are brought by policy level. आपके यहाँ पे policies clear नहीं हैं. ओके, नेट मीटरिंग की जब हम बात करते हैं, लिमिट्स आर इम्पोज्ड दैट यू विल गेट अ बेनिफिट अप टू अ पर्टिकुलर लिमिट. एक लिमिट तक ही आपको बेनिफिट मिलेगा, नॉट मोर देन दैट. That's the point. Then taxes are imposed on, you can say, cells and other components. आप टैक्स भी ज़्यादा कर रहे हो, prices increase हो जाती हैं उस वजह से. Okay, there are delays in terms of financing because lot of states they have their own, you can say, schemes जिसके अंदर वो थोड़ी rebate देते हैं, concession देते हैं, but payment rate lates आती है, ठीक है ना. That's an issue. And then unpredictability of future, that what will happen in future. What if the government stops buying that electricity? सरकार अगर वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी लेना बंद कर दे, डिस्कॉम अगर वो इलेक्ट्रिसिटी लेना बंद कर दे, व्हाट विल यू डू इन दैट पर्टिकुलर सिनेरियो? व्हाट विल यू डू? You have installed that particular, you can say, solar power panel, and you have invested money in that. It can be a complete loss for you. This is the point you have to understand. Okay, this is the point you have to understand. So we'll move next now. आगे चलते हैं. So as I told you, alarm bells over Nepal's dwindling Forex reserve. Okay, why it is important thing, and why India should keep a watch over it, because we export oil to Nepal. Okay, and you must be thinking that India export oil to Nepal. Yes, so we have a lot of refineries in India, so we get crude oil, and that crude oil is refined and we export diesel and petrol to Nepal. Okay, so if Nepalese, they don't have a forex reserve, definitely you need to understand forex reserve. If you talk about they can maintain their forex reserve in terms of Indian rupee as well. Even if they don't have that money, so they will not be able to go ahead with the payments. पैसे नहीं होंगे तो फिर आप करोगे क्या? तो इसीलिए हमें थोड़ी नज़र रखनी है इसके ऊपर कि what exactly is happening with Nepal, you can say forex reserve and other things. Okay, so that's why it is important for us. Other than that, if they don't have money, it can lead to a major crisis, and any economic crisis, it can lead to a political instability, and that particular thing is also not desirable for us. हमारे लिए वो भी खतरनाक है कि नेपाल में political instability आ जाए. Okay, this is the point you have to understand. So Sri Lanka seeks help for funds. Definitely, they are reaching out to Delhi and Beijing for $3 billion in bridge finance. They are saying that they need $3 billion to survive this onslaught of this particular crisis that is developing in Sri Lanka. And this is how Sri Lanka and their leaders play China card and India card. Okay, so they knew this thing, that if they will approach both India and China out of competition, both India and China is going to offer some help to them. ऐसा ज़रूर होगा, and this is how things are played here. Okay, things are played here. So we have already provided some of the concessions to them, and there are some, you can say, issues that are still pending. So they have requested that some debt moratorium should be given. तो जो installments वगैरह आनी थी, इंडिया ने जो उधार दिया हुआ था, so they are saying that for some time, give us some time, give us some holiday, that for certain, say 5 months, 6 months, we will not be paying our installments. Later on, it can start. This is what they are requesting, and it can be done. Indian government have to still decide होगा, but it will be done only with some gain for India as well. Give and take होता है इसके अंदर भी. Okay, randomly, outrightly आप उनकी बात नहीं मानोगे, आपको भी तो कुछ फायदा होना चाहिए ना. This is what India might explore. Okay, so you have to wait and watch what Indian government will approve regarding this particular point. Other than that, government lays down norms for quota in promotion. Okay, now these norms are related to, first thing they are coming out with this, that come out with the data related to, you can say, SC, ST individuals on different posts. Okay, different important posts, and then they will make a framework. They will come out with the policy whether the quota should be given in promotions or not. So this is what we have to wait and watch. इसके ऊपर अभी हमें wait and watch करना पड़ेगा, and definitely like they are going in a rational manner. Otherwise Supreme Court के अंदर मामला फिर एक तरीके से stay लग जाएगा, ठीक है ना. So multiple times Supreme Court has said that outrightly you cannot decide these things. You need to come out with some of the factual information. So here the government is thinking that let's first produce the facts. Let's first look into the data कि क्या है situation. Then the decisions will be taken. Okay. This is what we have to look into right now. Now, human rights not discussed at 2+2 meet. Okay, so this is the important, you can say, statement here. Why this issue has emerged? Because one of the US spokesperson have raised some, you can say, concerns regarding human rights violation in India. So they say that in India, like, there is poor implementation of Unlawful Activities Prevention Act, and freedom of speech and expression is not there in India. Whosoever is criticizing the government, the cases are registered under UAPA, and all these things are stifling the dissent voices. Okay, तो जो लोग भी oppose करने वाले हैं उनकी आवाज को दबाया जा रहा है, ऐसा US के कुछ लोगों ने बोला है. This is the point you have to understand, and now the clarification is being made by the Indian counterpart, saying that these things were not discussed at all. So we are saying that there is no human right violation going on in India. It's a, you can say, mental creation of United States. हम उसके अंदर कुछ नहीं कर सकते हैं. कहाँ हो रहा है human rights violation? How many cases are registered under UAPA? So human right violation, if you talk about, it primarily means that lakhs of people are, you can say, lakhs of cases are registered against these particular individuals. So we do have a freedom of speech and expression. You have a social media, free media is there. Every day people are criticizing Modi ji. So outrightly you cannot come out with these particular statements. Okay. So this is what has been told by our, you can say, leadership. ये हमने बताया है यहाँ पे. Okay, this is the point. Again, as I told you, US State Department's flags curbs on free speech. This is what they said. Definitely some of the issues can be there. Now, how you are going to use this information? आप इस information को use कैसे करोगे? So this is the important point you have to understand. Why I am saying this? If there is a question on freedom of speech, okay, the question can be there in your GS paper 2 as well. There again you will be mentioning about this point, that some of the US, you can say, dignitaries, they have pointed out that freedom of speech is under threat in India. ऐसे आप लिख सकते हो. Other could be like this. If there is a question on India-US relationship, there you have to write about some of the critical points. Critical in the sense that where US and India are not on the same page. तो IR के अंदर भी अगर क्वेश्चन बनेगा, there again you will be mentioning about this point. You will be mentioning about this point like this, that US departments, they have raised some concerns over lack of freedom of speech in India, which is not the case. Which is not the case. So there you will be defending the Indian point or Indian, you can say, position. वहां पे आपको Indian position को defend करना पड़ेगा. So this is how you will be dealing with this type of question. इस question को इस हिसाब से आपको deal करना है. ठीक है ना? This is the point that is there. This is the point that is there. Okay. So Ukraine war takes up minister's time and no specific US message. This is what Jaishankar is pointing out. Definitely Ukraine war must have been discussed. They must have been pressurizing India to not to buy oil from Russia, because otherwise if India continues to buy oil from Russia, then the impact of those particular sanctions will not be effective. तो जितने भी sanctions इन्होंने लगाए हैं वो effective नहीं होंगे. This is what they are saying here. Okay, that's why they want India should not outrightly or support the Russian, you can say, aggressiveness in Ukraine. And definitely, India is guided by its own national interest. If you are getting cheap oil, definitely सस्ता oil मिल रहा है तो आप लोगे ही लोगे, discounted rates पे मिल रहा है हमें, ठीक है ना? And we are a big consumer of oil and natural gas, और हमारे लिए बहुत important है वो. Okay, so this is the point that is there. This is the point that is there. Now, other than that, House panel deliberates on bill to raise the marriage age for women. Again, it was discussed what should be the appropriate age for marrying women. Okay, so the point is this. Why they want the age to be raised to 21 years? Because for boys right now the age is 21 years. So they want that in India equality should prevail. So for girl as well the age should be 21. अगर आप equality principle के हिसाब से चलोगे तो girls के लिए भी 21 होनी चाहिए age, ठीक है ना? Another point that they are coming out with this is that by doing this particular arrangement you are going to make more education plus employment opportunities for women, because having this particular minimum age, okay, will give some chance to women to decide on her career. Right now what happens, 18 हो गई, like education भी अभी complete नहीं होती है, and like before that as well, आपके घर से pressure आना शुरू हो जाता है, अरे लड़की की शादी कर दो, all this and that. Okay, so definitely from that perspective, if you see, it's a good step to increase the, you can say, marriageable age for women. But you need to understand one thing. Don't you think like these things, if we have right to life, okay, right to life and liberty आप देते हो, so things should be left to the people to decide when they want to get married. Government क्यों decide कर रही है कि 21 होनी चाहिए कि 22 होनी चाहिए? And do we have any rational, you can say, research that 21 should be the appropriate age? क्या आपके पास कोई data available है? And like, do you have any data by doing it 21, the opportunities will be created for women? ये क्या reason हो गया? 21 करने से women के लिए employment opportunities बढ़ जाएगी. Is it so? You think yourself, just by focusing on women marriageable age, is it going to increase the opportunities? It is not like that. You have to provide, you have to work on your economy, ease of doing business करना है, बहुत चीजें करनी है, education को अच्छा करना है. Educational institutions तो है नहीं. Okay, quality infrastructure is not there. Women की age बढ़ा दो तो सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा. Isn't it absurd? Isn't it absurd? This is the point you have to understand. Okay, so these are some of the, you can say, criticisms of this particular statement, and definitely you can mention about all these things. Other than that, on this particular page, there is nothing much, कुछ खास नहीं है. Okay, so Khambat riots were pre-planned. This is what Gujarat police is coming out with. एंड दिस इज़ हाउ थिंग्स आर डन इन इंडिया. ओके, काफ़ी चीज़ें प्लान करके की जाती हैं, हथियार इकट्ठे किए जाते हैं, एंड आफ्टर दैट यू गो हैड विद दीज टाइप ऑफ वायलेंट एक्ट्स. नाउ नोड टू एक्सटेंड ग्राम स्वराज scheme. Okay, so here we have this particular idea. So first of all you need to understand, I don't look into this scheme word, but if you look into the gram swaraj, this was the idea which was, you can say, suggested by Mahatma Gandhi. So it has some importance. It has some importance. Mahatma Gandhi wanted that Indian villages should be developed as model of governance. They should be the unit of governance in India. Okay, they should be self-dependent. विलेजेस को खुद डेवलप करना होगा. एंड इन दैट इंपॉर्टेंट रोल वॉज सजेस्टेड फॉर योर पंचायती राज. जो पंचायत हैं उनका यहाँ पे इंपॉर्टेंट रोल था. दिस इज व्हाट गांधी जी सेड. सो राइट नाउ द कैबिनेट कमेटी ऑन इकोनॉमिक अफेयर्स अप्रूव्ड अ प्रपोजल टू कंटिन्यू द राष्ट्रीय ग्राम स्वराज अभियान, a scheme for improving the governance capabilities of your panchayati raj institutions till 2025-26. Okay, so it has been extended. So राष्ट्रीय ग्राम स्वराज अभियान की कुछ एक एंड डेट थी, उसको आगे एक्सटेंड करके 25-26 तक कर दिया गया है. एंड दे आर सेइंग दैट दे विल वर्क अपॉन इंप्रूविंग द कैपेबिलिटीज ऑफ द पंचायती राज इंस्टीट्यूशंस, एंड इट इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. It is very important. The point is this, we always talk about improving the grassroots level democracy. Okay, हम हमेशा बात करते हैं कि grassroots level democracy को हमें improve करना है, strengthen करना है, public participation लेके आना है. Okay, so without strengthening your panchayati raj institutions, your panchayats, you cannot improve all these things. आप ये चीज़ बिल्कुल नहीं कर पाओगे. That's why government think that it should be further extended. So this particular approved scheme of this Rashtriya Gram Abhiyan, okay, it will help more than 2.78 lakh rural local bodies to develop governance capabilities to deliver on sustainable development goals. आप लोकल गवर्नेंस को इंप्रूव कर रहे हो, आप इंक्लूसिविटी लेके आ रहे हो, यू आर गोइंग टू एम्पावर द कॉमन मैन. एंड अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट वी नो दिस पार्ट, 33% रिजर्वेशन इज देयर इन योर लोकल बॉडीज फॉर वुमेन. सो इनडायरेक्टली इट विल बी अ बिग एम्पावरिंग टूल फॉर वुमेन एज वेल. ये एक एम्पावरिंग टूल है फॉर योर वुमेन. ओके, this is the point you have to understand. That's why government is focusing on this particular point. Okay, so this is what we have here. Now Supreme Court refuses to take up the plea for uniform code for religious institutions. Okay, Supreme Court has some limitations. The point is like this, some things should be left to the society to decide. As the society will develop, society will evolve, debates are carried out in the society, definitely uniform code and such things will come to light one day. ऐसा होगा, but for that your society needs to be mature enough. Okay, so ये religious debates maturity के साथ करने की हैं, otherwise it will be construed as imposition of majoritarian idea अगर आप कुछ भी जबरदस्ती करने की कोशिश करोगे तो. Okay, this is the point that is there. Biden accuses Putin of Ukraine genocide. Okay, we know that like Bucha killing, that was a tragic event. Okay, so you know, no matter how friendly we are with Russians, even the Indian government said that there should be proper investigation of the Bucha killing, because 400-500 civilians were killed and they were shot down with a point blank range. Okay, ऐसे मारा गया था. There were dead bodies lying on the street with hand tied from the back, हाथ पीछे बंधे हुए थे. So this is what has happened. Okay, so here there is another, you can say, statistics coming out with this. Over 1,000 Ukrainian soldiers surrender. This is what Russian Defense Ministry is coming out with. See, the point is this, in the war it is definitely very difficult to know what is the truth. Okay, because every party will try to win the perception battle. हर पार्टी परसेप्शन बैटल जीतने को तैयार रहती है. सो यूक्रेनियंस विल से दैट रशियंस आर सरेंडरिंग, रशियंस विल से दैट यूक्रेनियंस आर सरेंडरिंग, बिकॉज इट्स अबाउट द परसेप्शन, इट्स अबाउट ब्रेकिंग द मोरल, विल टू फाइट. ओके, विल टू फाइट, लड़ने की क्षमता, लड़ने की इच्छा, दैट्स द इंपॉर्टेंट पॉइंट दीज पर्टिकुलर, यू कैन से, कंट्रीज फोकस अपॉन. सो इंफॉर्मेशन वॉरफेयर, इट इज ऑल्सो इंपॉर्टेंट पार्ट ऑफ मॉडर्न वॉरफेयर. ओके, दिस इज द 5th जनरेशनल वॉरफेयर दैट वी सी. इंफॉर्मेशन जरूर यहाँ पे एक इंपॉर्टेंट रोल प्ले करता है, एटलीस्ट परसेप्शन बनाने में. This is the point that is there. This is the point that is there. Okay, so bankrupt Sri Lanka calls upon diaspora to send some cash. Okay, definitely they are seeking help from everywhere and anywhere.
जो भी हो, जहाँ से भी हो आ जाए, अच्छा है, ठीक है ना. दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट इज देयर. So Russia to seek alternative energy markets. Okay, definitely that's why they are exploring Indian market. So they have no issue in selling the discounted, you can say, oil, और 20 से 30% के डिस्काउंट पे मिल रहा है इंटरनेशनल प्राइस से, तो हमारे लिए तो अच्छा है, ठीक है ना. दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट इज देयर, दिस इज द पॉइंट दैट इज देयर. अपार्ट फ्रॉम दैट देर इज नथिंग मच, कुछ खास नहीं है. ओके, so here we have this thing on your internet, on your economy page. So it is pointing towards this thing: India's Q1 imports lift trade with China to a record high. Okay, so this is the point they are coming out with this. In 2021, India's trade with China surpassed the 100 billion mark, and for the first time it is like it will reach 125 billion dollars. Okay, that's the amount. It's a huge amount. So is it right? Is it right? The point is like this economic dependence on each other, it will help in reducing the conflicts. Okay, it has happened in the past as well. If countries are economically dependent on each other, at least wars might not take place. This is the point. Even the Chinese, they know the fact that India is a big market for their products, so you cannot make Indians angry. You cannot make Indians angry. So this is the point, this is the point that you have to understand here. Okay, so this is the fact that was there. Private investment plans hit record in financial year 2022, manufacturing rebound. Now this is the really important point here, because from past few years the developmental activity, the investment was majorly carried out by the public sector. And if you talk about your development, it is not possible without the investment by private sector. So as the private investment is picking up, it's a really important thing. ये काफी important है हमारे लिए. Okay, so exports rose by 20%, imports by 24%. Okay, this is what is happening right now. So these statistics are there. These statistics are there. Apart from that, there is nothing much. Inflation may exceed 7% till September. Okay, so it's really very alarming. So SBI economists are pointing out towards this thing. So apart from that, if government thinks of increasing the minimum support price to farmers, it will further add to food inflation, because चीजें और महंगी हो जाएंगी. Okay, so this is what they are coming out with. This is what they are coming out with. This is what we have in this particular session. Now let me address your doubts and concerns. Okay, so Nikita is saying, sir, Wiki, there is a Vision IAS holds test in all over India with 1,000 rupees. Okay, so okay, sir, is this stand up India to rise as a superpower? Is this stand help India to rise as a superpower? In what context you are talking about? See, whenever you talk about superpower, now superpower in the sense, or global power in the sense, superpower, global power, they are decisive. Okay, they are not confused. वो कंफ्यूज नहीं होते, वो डिसाइसिव होते हैं, ठीक है ना. दे टेक स्टैंड बाय दैट, दे टेक स्टैंड, वट एवर इज देयर, यू कैन से फॉरेन पॉलिसी इज, they take positions. Okay, they take positions. So that's the important point you have to understand. That's the important point you have to understand. Okay, so sir, मेरे पेपर में एक्सप्लेनर का पेज नहीं है. निकिता, आई एम जस्ट फोकसिंग ऑन द एडिशन दैट वी आर यूजिंग इज ऑफ दिल्ली एडिशन. ओके, सो हमारे पेपर में तो आ रहा है, ठीक है ना. दिस इज द पॉइंट. विकी इज आस्किंग, सर, स्टैंड विद ऑटोनोमस थॉट नॉट इम्पैक्टेड बाय एनी नेशन. आई होप इट इज जस्टिफाइड दैट इफ यू आर इंडिपेंडेंट, यू आर ऑटोनोमस, इट मीन्स दैट you have your own point of view, you have your own idea that what is your national interest, what is your national take on a particular issue. Okay, so वो तो बात होती है, आपको confused नहीं दिखना होता. This is the point that is there. So Pranjal is saying that Tolka PM extent of Tamilian grammar text, absolutely right. Okay, so Pranjal is then saying, providing us information regarding the exports that we had with Ukraine. So pharmaceutical products, electronic equipment, plastics, oil, seed. Okay, and with Russia we have organic chemicals, machinery, nuclear reactors, boilers, iron, steel, coffee, tea. Okay, fine. So apart from that, like can we say that diamond industry will also be impacted by this Ukraine-Russia war? क्या आपको लगता है डायमंड इंडस्ट्री कहीं से इम्पैक्ट होगी? सो यू नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड, लाइक वर्ल्ड्स बिगेस्ट, यू कैन से, माइनिंग, डायमंड माइनिंग कंपनी, they used to send diamonds to India. Now I hope you people know this fact. In India is known for diamond cutting and polishing. Okay, so raw diamond पूरी दुनिया का यहाँ पे आता है, और हमारे यहाँ पे हम उसको पॉलिश और कट करके भेजते हैं, ठीक है ना. Santosh Berai saying, sir, please take Yojana session monthly. Okay. See, the point is that we will be taking up the April Yojana session. Don't worry about it. Very soon I'll make a video out of it. Okay, for that. बिल्कुल बनाएंगे, निश्चिंत रहें आप. So this is what we have. So diamond के ऊपर भी impact पड़ेगा, ठीक है ना, diamond industry. That's the other thing that you should know. Okay. So I hope I have addressed your doubts and all. So that's it for the day then. Thank you very much.